Perfect. Give me some emojis, some reactions if you can still hear me and see me. Everything is good. Give me a chance to get some water. Perfect. All right. Hope y'all are ready to party. So we have a fantastic call for you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday night Legacy Life team call. All right. Tonight is Monday, August 14th. So if you're watching the recording of this, you know which one you're on. And we have a fantastic call lined up for y'all. I've been looking forward to this call for a few weeks now because I get questions from the people in the field and the team. And a lot of times it's the same questions over and over again. It's the same concerns over and over again. It's the same, how does this work? How can we get better at this? Everybody has the same growth questions. And that's why I'm so pumped for tonight, because we're going to address a lot of this. And you will see by the end of tonight's call, if for whatever reason you've been in the field and maybe you've been getting, not the results you're looking for, or you're just trying to level up, right? This is the call for you, okay? For those of you that I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Dan Hoyt. I hail from the mean streets of Denver, Colorado. Super gangsta. Not really. I have the pleasure of sharing this evening with y'all, and very happy to spend this evening with y'all. So I know that a lot of you can be doing a lot of things, spending time with your family, working, doing appointments, all sorts of stuff. And again, we put on these calls specifically for you. All right, this is to add value to you. This is to help everybody in here operate at a higher level. And so wherever you may be in your business, you might not even have signed up yet. You might not be licensed yet. You might not be contracted yet. You might be in your first couple of weeks of doing the do, as we call it, where you're actually in the field and you're running appointments for the first time and you're calling leads for the first time. Or maybe you've been doing this a while and you're like, how do I up my game? Or maybe you've been doing this for a couple of years and you were one of the first people that got started on the team, and you're like, okay, I'm doing well, but how do I bridge the gap between my new people just learning this and becoming proficient or becoming excellent? All right. And so we're gonna cover all that stuff tonight. And so just as a reminder, along the way, if we're talking about something that is good or interesting or whatever, use those reactions, the emojis, to let us know we're on the right track or the wrong track. Again, this is for you guys. All right. We're taking our night out to add value to you. And so if we're going down the right path, reaction emoji it up. If we're going down the wrong path, let us know. All right. Because we want this to be applicable. And I know it will be. So tonight we have a very, very special call. I will introduce a couple people in just a second. But before they do, guys, we have hundreds of people in the team now. Our family spans across the entire United States from coast to coast. And there are a few people that are just absolutely crushing it. And there's even less people that are crushing it from like right out of the gates. And so we're going to interview a couple of those folks because they are having exceptional results. But what you're going to come to find, at least this is my guess, is that you're going to find out that it's not that they're doing something super duper super special. They don't have any magic pixie dust. They're just doing things that they're doing things more often and more consistent than everybody else. I think that's what we're going to learn, but we'll hear it from them. So we've got a couple incredible people. Both people are having over $10,000 months right out of the gates. And last month, someone got very close to $20,000 month. All right. And both of these people have been crushing it consistently. And that's the big thing. Like there's some folks that do well, a couple months and then, don't and whatever. And that's completely fine. But the people tonight, they are consistent and they're consistently getting results. And so we want to introduce you to Erin. She's the queen of Atlanta, we call her. She is just crushing it. She's having almost right out of the gate, she's been having 10K months. I'll let her share her story. And then we also have All Day Andre. He's been absolutely crushing it as well. All day, day, right? And so if you guys can unmute yourselves and turn on your video, I want everybody to meet y'all. And then we can jump into some questions. So we got Aaron. Go ahead and talk so we know that we can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you all day. Andre, what's up, brother?
Hello. How you doing?
Oh, dude, we are doing amazing, and going to be even better after everybody hears y'all's stories. So some of the questions I'll have for both y'all, obviously we could talk all night, but we have, time limitations. And so some of the questions will be designed for, one or both of y'all. And if y'all can, hear them and everything, give me some emojis if y'all can hear and see when they were talking. Yeah. Cool. Sweet. Rock and roll. Awesome. So the first thing that I would love to know from both of you, and we'll let ladies go first. So Andre, no, I'm kidding. So Aaron, we're gonna have fun tonight. So Aaron, the thing I want to know about from both of y'all is, how'd you get here? Like, what got you excited about this? Everybody's on a trajectory in life, right? We have a path, and somewhere along the line, that path gets interrupted, and people find us, and the ones that resonate with our message and our mission, they come on board. And so for you, like, what got you excited about this? How did you even end up here?
Miserable at work, and Mike, his wife, Arcadie's one of my best friends. She knew I was miserable, begging Mike to talk to me, reach out to me. He finally did, and it just fell into place. I didn't even know what he was doing. I said I was going to do it. Meet me, tell me what you're doing. And the excitement of getting out where I was is what motivated me, life-changing event, because I think a year ago I wouldn't be as confident and wanted to jump. So I know it's supposed to be right time, right place to make it worth that jump, because it is scary. It's scary, but that is what motivated me, especially seeing what he did, helping people. It just felt right.
I love it. So the biggest motivator was, like, you had a situation, you wanted to get out of that situation, and
I was
you saw somebody else winning. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was capped out and miserable. Yep.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Andre, how about you, brother?
Yeah, so I was in Houston when I met Mike. I used to work for Goosehead Insurance, which is an insurance brokerage, but they focus more so on the PNC side. So I was with them for about 2 years. The office that I was with was opening another, or they still are opening another office actually out here in Raleigh. So the way we got our business was by partnering with, realtors and loan officers, because when somebody buys a house, they have to have insurance. So the realtors would send the clients our way to give them insurance and stuff and get them set up. So there was a realtor that I partnered with at the time that his name is Jerome, and he had people over, and Mike was there. And so I was kind of looking into maybe doing something on the side, or just to make a little bit extra money or something like that. I really actually wasn't, when he had sent it to me, I was like, no, but he was just like, hey, come by and, check it out and all that. And I mean, good thing I did. But went over there and, heard Mike out. And so I was like, okay, I'll do something on the side and, kind of get it going. I already had my license, and I moved out here for Goosehead, and there was just call it a misunderstanding on the moving expenses. I kind of got shorted, and I just decided at that point that I was done, and that was it. I kind of took my, jump, I went right in. I called Mike actually that day, and I was like, hey, because I'd been kind of going back and forth with him for a little bit, but it was hard for me because I was trying to get things going here with Goosehead and, marketing and going to, realtors and loan officers and stuff like that. So it was hard to get on these calls and get some of the things done that he was asking for. So when that happened, I just called him. I was like, hey, like, what do I got to do? And it was just going from there. So yeah.
Perfect. So a good learning lesson, right? What is the point of this first question is, people ask all the time, like, where do we find these people? Like, there's some kind of hidden stash of Andres and Aaron's around, right? And at the end of the day, you have somebody like Mike, who is a fantastic inviter, and he says very little to a lot of people, and he puts himself in a position to win. And the story that is not unique both of these people have is that it was the right timing. So in life, there's timing. That's all it is. And so both of these people were at a point where they were looking for something different, and this came into their lives. And so that's there's no special place to find great people like this. It's really the fact that you want to say a little to a lot of people, and then when it's the right time in their life, if it's the right journey for them, then they'll show up. So appreciate that, y'all. So let me ask you this, Andre, what did you have? I mean, because you were already in the insurance field, did you have any apprehension? Was there any fears at all? Was there any reservations that you had coming into the deal?
My big thing that I would well, not always, but the big thing that I remember bringing up to Mike was just because I wasn't a non-compete. I was worried about, kind of getting in trouble, and just the way that things had kind of gone with, the moving expenses and all. I was like kind of on the fence of, okay, well, if I start getting these appointments or something and they find out, like, I don't want them to think that, I moved over here, like I used them to try to get over here. And, it was a lot of that stuff that I was kind of working up in my own head. And, reaching out to clients that, I guess had recently spoke to from Goosehead, being kind of hesitant to talk to them. But that was probably my big thing. I mean, once I got going, it wasn't a big deal anymore. I kind of realized that that was all stuff that I was making up in my own head. And that was really it. I think I kind of had to wait on a couple of things, because right after I graduated college, I worked for Globe Life. That was my first job. So I had I had a vector actually from them from 4 or 5 years ago that, like, I had, I didn't even I completely forgot about. So had to get things figured out with that. But no, there was really not too much outside of just making sure that everything was okay with Goosehead that I was, as far as being apprehensive about.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good, man. And that's a very unique situation. And for those of y'all that are building a team, you're going to run into situations like that. So if you do, hit up Andre. Aaron, I know that based on our conversations, especially when you got in, this was like so outside of your wheelhouse and so outside of your comfort zone. So talk to us a little bit about going from being in the dental / orthodontist field to, financial services, life insurance, and kind of the fears and apprehensions that you had.
All right, so I was in hygiene for 12 years and structured from working a 7 to 5 job, knowing my paycheck every 2 weeks, being told what to do, micromanaged, to looking into this, starting part-time, because one, I kept asking Mike, like, is this real? I don't believe it. It's too good to be true. And worked part-time, and then I saw it happening, saw making money. And then when I saw leads coming in, when I set up my GMR and the money I did make part-time, I was like, I'm missing out on so much money. And so when I got back from NatCon, it was the scariest thing I've ever done, but I just didn't go back to work. That Thursday, I told her 2 weeks notice. Friday, I flew out to Dallas in January. Monday, I just said, I'm not going back to work. Put it all in God's hands. It was terrifying. I was like, what am I doing? And the weirdest part, you thought it would feel great for freedom. I thought I was doing something wrong. I had nobody telling me what to do, nobody hounding me, nobody over my shoulder, all on my own, that whole freedom. And it seemed like it would feel good, but I swear it took like 2 months to get adjusted to it. But it's just the best thing. And then the funny thing is I'll kind of translate, like my husband has his own business and he went full time with that, but now he works part-time still to keep his license in radiology, and every blue moon he goes, and he's like, Aaron, this is horrible. And I ask people ask me to work odd days for hygiene. And I'm like, there's no way. I feel like I'd be going to jail. There's no way. I'm not getting paid enough. I'm wasting time. I can't make calls. I can't check emails. I'm under somebody else's thumb. No way. So it's just reassuring that it's just meant to be, and it's the best decision ever.
So on that same vein,
Yes.
what was like, if you don't mind telling everybody, what was the most that you ever made in a month doing what you used to do?
Oh God, after taxes, it's pathetic looking back. I mean, maybe 4,000 working my ass off as a literally like a nurse practitioner position, but I was a dental hygienist, not making anything like I should. 12-hour, almost 11 and a half hour days, literally 4 days a week. I was like, No, this is wasting my life."
And fast forward, not even a year later. I mean, you've only been doing this a few months, and
Mhm.
you were scraping the ceiling of almost 20K last month, right?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is last month being July, I hate jinxing it, but I was only working maybe 2 days a week in July. I mean, it's insane. 2 days a week
That
average.
we're gonna come back to that. And for those of you
Okay.
that don't know the terms GMR or NatCon, GMR is a term that we use for our lead system. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. And then NatCon is short for National Convention. It's one of the events that we have for a company that where you learn basically from the people making the most money. You'll go out for a couple days and they'll teach you step by step how they do what they do. So Aaron, I know you were stressing because this was so out of your comfort zone. I remember, meeting you, you were brand new and you were just like, oh Lord, what did I get myself into? And you were so concerned and scared. And I think that a lot of people on the call can relate to that because something I was thinking about the other day is how often do we do something for the first time enough to get uncomfortable. We get stuck in these routines, right? We get stuck in these routines.
Mhm.
And so it's been so long since we've been uncomfortable, we forgot what it felt like. And so a
Mhm.
lot of folks, it's been a while since they've done anything to grow as a person, right? And so when you're starting something new, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm out of my routine, everything's out of whack, and I'm doing something new, so I have to grow. So walk us through, and we'll get over to Andre to ask the same question, but walk us through what was the first couple of weeks like for you? What were your, what were your fears? What did you run into? And how did you push through that?
Okay. So Monday, I did my dials and I was like, all right, this is crazy. I mean, that's it because that's before everything starts flooding in. I just focused on dials, appointments, YouTube videos, staying active, talking, communicating with my upline. And I'll never forget one of the old videos, I think Mark was mentioning just over and over, you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And just those remarks and listening to my upline and not questioning anything they told me, I just went with it. I just didn't want to overthink it. Because if you overthink it, you put doubt in your head, then that becomes fearful. And then it's just a nightmare. And I'm all of that in one person. So if I don't think about it and I just do and stay very active, that puts all the fear aside because I'm too busy focusing on the task. And then the best thing too, I was having a day where I'm questioning everything. I'm a perfectionist. I want to do it just right. And I don't want to mess up. And Mike said, Aaron, just focus on the task. When you knock at the door, just focus on the task. And everything I've watched with you, the YouTube videos in the home and just practicing, I just focused on the task. That way you're in the moment. You're not already thinking 10 steps ahead because that doubt, fear, and then they sense that they know it. So just those little, I mean, it's the littlest things somebody could tell you that could work for you and how you feel in the moment. And always after every appointment, what helped me after every appointment, Rachel, Mark, Mike, you, I would call it immediately so I could learn. And that helped me stay active mindfully. So then again, I don't get in my head and then worry. So I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. How, throw up some reaction emojis if at all you've ever felt like that you're just in your head and you're getting in your own way and you're the only thing stopping you from having the same level of success as everybody else that you're aspiring to be. I can say 100%. People think like Nick, Mike, me, Dave, Aaron, Andre, Jessica, like all these people that are crushing it. It's like they think we're immune to feeling this way, and we're not. We get the same butterflies before calling. We get the same apprehension. We drive up to a house that looks sketch and we're like, oh Lord, like, please, prepare me for what I'm about to experience. And it's like a lot of people think that they're unique in that experience, that they're being picked on. One of my favorite guys, a buddy that I used to know, he always used to say the phrase, you're not getting picked on, you've been picked, right? It's like you are the person that was destined to come meet this family because you're the one that's going to add value and help them. And so absolutely that helps. Just real quick before we transition, did you, in those first couple of weeks, I know we all have it, but in the first couple of weeks, did you run into any super weird houses where you were just like, I don't know what to do? And if so, how did you push through?
Well, I could answer that two ways. What do you mean? I don't know what to do. Like just walking in the door, how they answered, or what? Because I've
All
had
of it.
some very okay. So the first door knock I ever did with Mike, knock, 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 knock. Finally cracks the door open. The man is fallen. His pants are down to his ankles. So we have to get in and help pick him up and pull his pants up. The next guy that we get, he answers naked because he gets out of the shower. He's got to get a towel around his waist and then he has to go get dressed. So that was my first two appointments with Mike. So started out fun. And after that, but I don't know what to do. I think Nick said it on one of the YouTubes, like, while you're in there, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? They let you in the house, swing for the stars, like just swing at something. So, and I think I just try in my head, I'm like asking questions and I'm just honestly just pulling stuff out of my head of anything I can to like, even if like the final expense, if I don't know what to do, like with the green share, I'm just trying to keep asking questions because I mean, what's it going to hurt? I mean, other than they can say no, and you left that house trying everything versus I should have asked this and then having regrets because how are you going to get back in the house? So
100%.
just and then open communication with your upline when you get in the home, do what they say and then call. Then that really helps. Just preparing for your appointment. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so everybody, we're going to ask Andre the same thing, but if you've encountered something weird, right, in doing this, again, it's not a unique experience. All of us come up to some houses and there's some crazy stuff. And it's like, there's some people that are just going to be like, this isn't for me. And they're not really wanting to get muddy, so to speak, right? They want to be, sparkly and all that kind of stuff. And, there's parts of this business that has that, but to really learn it, you got to get into the trenches and you got to push through. The only way through is through. And it's like you have somebody where their very first two experiences were crazy, all right, but they pushed through and you look at where they're at right now. So Andre, same thing, like in your first couple of weeks, did you experience anything weird? Or was there a point where you're like, nah, I don't know if I want to move forward, and then you push through? And also, at what point did it really start to click for you? Or has it even clicked for you? Or do you feel like you're still kind of figuring things out?
Yeah. I've had, I don't think I've had anything like that. But I've had some interesting ones. I think the first really weird one might have been like my first or second like sale actually. And I got to this lady's place and I think it was a door knock. She was moving and I was just kind of in there talking and she's like walking around the house, packing up stuff and kind of, I think when I got in there, she didn't have internet and my hotspot wasn't working. So I had to leave and like try to come back another time. So the next time I'd come back, I'd, had the app pretty much all done. I just needed like her bank information. She kept trying to give me her like credit card or like debit card. And I'm like, I can't take that. Like, it's not going to work. She's like, okay, well, I don't have this. And I don't know when I'm going to get it and da, da, da. So I had to come back again and I came back again and she was moving. So I like just was trying to be nice. Like, well, do you need help moving some stuff? At the time I had a truck. And so I helped her move some stuff. She brings me to like the project somewhere and still didn't end up. I was there like in the projects, they were selling drugs and doing all types of interesting things
Hey,
around
it
me.
happens.
That I just needed the account and routing number, but still didn't end up getting it until the next time. So it was like 4 times visiting with this lady before I got it. It was like $20 a month or something like that. So that was
But you learn the experience and you know, you push through. So rock and roll. As far as that goes, was there a point that you've been doing the meetings now for a couple months? It's like, I know, and I know you both are still like basically brand new. Because it takes about a year to really get your head around things and to really feel like it clicks. Andre and then Aaron, do you feel like it's clicked yet, or do you still feel like I'm still figuring it out and you know, but you're pushing through and it's getting easier and easier? Like, how are things now that you've been in for a few months?
Yeah. So I don't think that I know exactly everything yet, but even from the start, I've never really been worried about asking for help. Like when I'm in the house, I think that's a big thing that a lot of people get hung up on. I think really quick, I found out kind of how to make myself feel comfortable with calling, and I would just call because at the end of the day, like that person, whether you're new or not, doesn't know that you don't know what the F you're doing, like they have no clue. Like, so when I would get in the house and I didn't know what was going on, and okay, I got their health information, I got, how much they're making and all that stuff written down. Um, I would just say, hey, like, I want to see what we can get you qualified for. I'm going to get in contact with one of the underwriters. So it's like they don't know that I'm calling Mike or, I'm asking for help.
Sure.
Just think I'm speaking with an underwriter. So I would get on the phone and I would literally just tell him everything that I knew. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, go with this company. I get off the phone and write that company. But that was it. And they have no clue, so it was never really an issue to ask for help. I never had a problem doing that. So I think I've kind of been at the point more recently where I've been in enough houses or enough homes to kind of be able to, pick up on things. You see, okay, diabetes, okay, insulin, is it 50, 30, whatever, like when did you have it, neuropathy, and you kind of know where to go. And for the most part, I'm trying to do everything on my own. And then if anything, I'll call Mike and just say what I'm thinking. Like, hey, I'll tell him the same thing. Hey, I'm getting on the phone with an underwriter to see, if we can get you qualified. And I'll just say, hey, Mike, this person's got this, this, and this, and this. And I was, thinking of going with this company. What do you think? And he'll be like, yeah, or you can do this company. And that's it.
That's a great point. So we're going to get into the resources available to everybody, but obviously it sounds like from both of you, you're leveraging the resources available to you to a very high extent. And, that's a huge point, especially for brand new people, is they think a lot of times it's like, okay, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to be completely alone and I'm not going to have help. And it's like, there's so much help. And the whole system is designed to be there for you and to have resources. And so that very little of it you have to figure out in the beginning. But then you start to run into situations over and over again where it's like, oh, I've been in this situation before where somebody had this same, illnesses or the same kind of health problems or the same type of home situation. It's like, okay, I know what to do here. So next question I'd like to ask Aaron real quick is, now that you guys are in a rhythm, can you walk us through like what your schedule is? I know that you guys are both crushing it right now, but a lot of questions I had leading up to this is, how do you structure your week? What is your schedule?
Okay. Monday's dial day on top of following up from the week prior. So if I did any door knocks or need to do rescheduling, so it's the main thing, and live by your calendar. And I know this can be overwhelming. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but see all the highlights and notes, write everything down. Hold yourself accountable. It's a little scary, sticky notes, highlighters, but I feel like even though I know I'm going to dial at a certain time every day, if I write it down and check it off, it's just holding me more accountable. And I am that person that wants to stay as busy as possible. So lots of lists, anything I can grow. But so Mondays is dials, follow-ups, people I need to the ERS system, scheduling, I schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know this is going to be completely different than anybody else. This just works for me. So I literally call on Monday to schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I fill up Tuesday, Wednesday first, and then I go to Thursday. Now, sometimes Wednesday or Tuesday, I'll try to make dials to fill up Thursday. But I kind of like it where my Thursday's open because I get anxiety when I have leads that I can't reach for so long on top of ones that don't have numbers. So it gives me an excuse to do door knocks, and I have it. And I think organization works. So I have files for new dials. I have files for door knocks that I know what county I am that day. I can just directly pull it from that county, and then I stick it on my clipboard. So in between appointments, I go there. So that helps me stay busy. It makes me feel like I'm being productive and getting the most out of each lead I purchase. I go through these leads until they're literally ragged. So that's what my days look like. And I schedule anywhere from 5 to 6 appointments a day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is just kind of, I have my kids on Friday. So sometimes if I have an appointment, one lady I wrote a policy for, I was like, look, that's the only day you're going to see my kids. We're coming. Honestly, I think I'm going to do that more often. I've done that twice, and it just makes it more relaxing for the clients. But Fridays, I was like follow-up phone calls. Like if somebody I didn't close on, I say, okay, we're going to make a phone call appointment on Friday. We're going to talk, and then we'll schedule you for the next week. So that is what my appointments look like. And anytime in between appointments, if I'm have 30 minutes appointments missed, it's door knock, phone calls, just staying very, very busy. Just keep busy and productive. Don't wait till tomorrow.
So the goal is to set 15 to 20 appointments a week. Is that right?
Honestly, to not getting my head, I know this doesn't work. I've structured things different. I just go day by day of what I can do for that week, depending on how many leads I have, what the week looks like. I get the most of those days, and I don't keep track of like, I have to have at least 20 appointments. I have to have this because I focus on the negativity. And if I don't reach that, I can't focus positive. So I got to just not overthink that. So I just stay as busy as possible. And as long as I know I'm being active in between appointments, the day of my dials, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then I know if I'm putting that work in, it'll circle around for the better, because being productive, I mean, you can't lose from that.
Absolutely.
So I don't
And that
have
makes complete-
specific
that
on
makes complete
anything
sense.
else. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have
No,
specific.
that makes complete sense, because what you're doing that we try to get a lot of people to do, and you're just instinctively doing that, is it's like, okay, you're setting up your week. You're being intentional on Monday about your dials. You're setting up, sometimes people will do a schedule of dial Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday, dial Thursday for Friday, Saturday, or whatever. But you're still getting in about the same amount of appointments. But the big thing that I like about what you're doing, and I hope that people are taking notes on this, is that if there's a no-show, then you're immediately going into your file for the door knocks, and you're not wasting the time. And it's like, you're not just sitting on your hands for 2-3 hours till your next meeting. It's like, okay, there's people in this area. And for those of you that don't know this, in your in the ARC, which is your back office, you can actually go to your CRM, and there's a live map that'll show you wherever you are. It'll show you where your leads are on a map. So you can see who's in your neighborhood that you can go and door knock if for whatever reason someone doesn't show up. So it's like, Erin is making all this money, and people no-show her too. All right. And she's taking advantage of the time. So Andre, how about yourself? How are you structuring your week?
Yeah, I'd say, similar to Erin, I've kind of rotated through a couple different, I guess, scheduling ways. So originally I was doing about like 2 hours apart. So I'd call on Monday and then try to fill up Tuesday and Wednesday. But I would put my appointments like 9, 11, 12, 1, 3, just 2 hours apart, especially early on, just because I didn't want to, I guess like feel rushed into the next appointment, or I wanted to make sure I had enough time, right? And I think I wasn't giving myself enough opportunities throughout the day. So I recently decided to just do it like an hour and a half, and it gives me a little bit more structure, and to know like, hey, when you get in there, like don't just be sitting there talking to grandma all day, like, get in there, you talk for a little bit, get to it, and give yourself enough time to not make it seem like you just wrote her policy and took off, to try
Right.
to get to it. And then, give myself enough time to get to the next appointment. So trying to fill up Tuesday and Wednesday is the goal, but I think it's hard to get that all the time, some with the new leads, and then you got people that you can follow up with and stuff. So my thing is similar to Aaron. I don't get hung up on if I don't fill up a Tuesday or Wednesday, because I know at the end of the day, I have everything organized in route for me, and I keep a binder with my leads and all that stuff. And I just have them in alphabetical order. And so if I just go on the route for me or whatever, like you said, if I have somebody miss an appointment, or maybe if I just only scheduled 2 appointments for a day or something like that, and I got plenty of time in between, I know that me personally, I'm just going to be knocking on people's doors and, going from there. So honestly, probably about 50-50 for, between appointments and door knocks, and some
Okay.
bigger like sales have been off of door knocks too. So, because some people you'll run into, they don't have phone numbers, or they'll have settings where it's like it goes straight to voicemail. Some people just never get on the phone. So it's like, well, I can't just not go and try it. So just end up door knocking majority of people. So to me.
Absolutely. And that's such a huge thing that you guys are seeing, that both people are doing things a little bit different from each other, but also some of the same things, right? And one of the things that they're both doing is door knocks. And the reason that's so important is because people get, especially in this age range, they're getting blown up 15, 20, 30 calls a day with spam. And so some of them, they just turn off their phone, or if it's any number that they've never seen before, they're just not going to answer. And so if they're doing that with you, they're doing it with everybody that they filled out forms with. And so a lot of times it's just taking that extra step of going to do the door knock that's going to allow you to get into the home, build the relationship, and then add the value by making the sale and protecting them. Okay. So that's really good. Now, what I'd like to know about also from y'all are you guys running A leads through a GMR, which is where the company mails out leads on your behalf, and it's through direct mail? Are you guys doing A leads, and how much were you paying, how much a week were you spending in leads when you first started, and how much are you spending in leads right now? Andre, you can.
Who you
can go
going
first.
with? Who?
Let's do. We can do Aaron. You're already talking. Let's go.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I started the GMR at, I don't know, maybe 250, waiting on it to come in, and then maybe it's up to 500. Don't pay close attention to it because I don't want to get in my head. But the GMR was the best thing starting out. Yes, it's scary, but one day when I saw I really didn't have anybody to call, that's like, okay, that's more fearful than gambling, spending the money, and not having anything to do. Nothing to do means not being productive, and no appointments and no money. So don't think about it. Set up that GMR. It's the best purchase ever. So I can't speak
No.
highly about, who cares what more money you spend, the more options or opportunity you have. Mhm.
Yeah, when we first got in, someone said everybody, that's making multiple 6 figures, a lot of them are spending $1,000 a week in leads. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money to be spending. And even though I'd had a traditional business where I was spending tens of thousands of dollars a month to operate that business, it still was scary to think like $1,000 a week in leads. But then someone said, usually you can expect to 10x the money you're putting in. And that just sounded outrageous. But for those of you that have been following along, here's the math. She's saying about $500 a week-ish, right? Sometimes we'll buy more if she's running lean or whatever. But it's like in average, that's $2,000 a month in lead cost. And what last month is around almost 19,000. So there's the 10x, right? So you spent 2,000, you got close to 20,000. There's the 10x in your lead cost. And it's crazy because it's like, don't, don't trip over dollars to pick up pennies. Meaning, don't be so worried about spending money that's a tax write-off to fuel your business. It's like, imagine if McDonald's was like worried about buying buns and burgers and shakes and all that kind of stuff, and then they would have nothing to offer. They would run out and they would go out of business. And so it's like, we have to invest in the fuel that fuels our business. And so I love that you have been really on a GMR since day one. You took that leap of faith and it's massively paid off. Andre, how about yourself?
Yeah. I think after my first month, I actually set up the GMR because I'm in Wake County, North Carolina. So there wasn't like consistently leads here. Like early on when I was just buying leads, whatever would come up, I would get them A0s, A1, whatever. I would even drive like an hour and a half away to get leads in Cumberland County over here. So then I set it up, and I think I want to say it was originally like 500 or 600, I want to say. And then after Miami, I think I'm at like 8 something now, like 810 now. So
Yep, scared money don't make money. Let's go, bro.
yeah.
Let's go. Andre's been crushing. I know. When did you first, both of you, when did you first set up your GMRs, like first get into the biz, like actually doing the business? How long have you guys both been in actually doing the business?
This is my 4th month. I think my first,
Let's go.
yeah, I think
And this is my 7th.
Y'all, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like, where else can you go and in less than a year be proficient at something enough to be making that kind of money? I mean, you have people that are tenured professors. You have people that have been, that started companies. You have people that are, have 15 degrees and working for, military contracts that don't even get anywhere near that. And you guys, had the guts to, walk this path and walk by faith, and look how it's paying off for y'all. That is awesome. Okay. So there's two questions that I have left, and we'll hop into the Q&A. So we've talked a little bit about this, but what resources do you guys take advantage of? Like, for example, when you're in the home, are you calling your upline to, especially in the first couple months, were you in the home calling your upline to verify, the product you were looking at through the quoting tool was appropriate? Have you guys utilized BAM, which is our investment team at corporate? Are you guys utilizing Gina Hawks? Are you guys utilizing, the team get-togethers, the calls, the weekly calls, the presentations? What are some of the things that you guys are utilizing, the resources you have available to grow your business?
Me first.
Sure, let's go.
I don't want to talk over anybody. I'll just go square one. So the beginning with your upline, when they're recruiting you, teaching you everything, do what they say. Just don't question it. I remember one night Mike said, okay, dials at 7 o'clock tonight. My husband said, what are you doing 7 o'clock? I said, Mike said, I'm not questioning him. So literally following through what they say. Monday night calls, so important. And then our Legacy Life YouTube videos, my favorite one, which I helped somebody on another team last week. Mike and Nick do an amazing job. They look like little preteens in this picture, but talking about in the home, dials and when you're in the home. It's so basic. You ask 2 questions when you're in the home. When you once you build a rapport, push over that piece of paper. Why did you fill this out? 1, you don't have any insurance. I'm keeping it very, slim. Or 2, you do. And when's the last time you verified? That's open questions to get them to think. And then you go into what's the reason? Well, you have something. If they don't have anything, that's easy. But if they do, don't be scared of that. That is where you have to jump on and do what they say. Verify their insurance. Don't question like, oh, they know what they have. 97% of people do not know what they have. There's surprises, and they're going to thank you when you get off the phone. They'll honestly say you're a godsend. And verifying them lets them know you're looking out for them. That's even more trust. So then you get all that answered, a little questionnaire of what you ask per policy, term versus universal life versus whole life. Then you do medical questionnaire and why. What is their purpose? Like burial, replace income. Once you get all that information, just like they tell you to, 1, 2, 3, then you call. I say, you know what? I'm going to call my senior underwriter. Let me just verify. He knows these medications like the back of his hand. We have so many options. I want to make sure you have the best option. They even are happy that you've got a second opinion because they're like, holy cow, she's taking more time to make sure I'm taken care of. I don't know what the heck I was doing. He's telling me everything. They love listening to that. And then you get off the phone, just like Andre said, and it's cakewalk. And then a lot of times you're saving them money. You're getting them money back. You're getting more coverage and less premium. And it's more of problem solving than feeling like you're just in there trying to add or sell something. And I even paint that picture of like, I don't want to just add something. Let's verify what you have. So let's make sure it makes sense in the big picture and just educating them that you're really there to serve them and they feel that. So the upline, when they are trying to tell you the step by step, don't question it, don't veer from it. It's what's led me to where I am, and then you can only grow from that. So getting used to the underwriting, the Alliance University, use that, because don't take advantage of leaning on them. Yes, I still question certain things, but definitely get comfortable with the quoting tools, the underwriting. Rachel, God bless her, she's like, Erin, let's call for a risk assessment. So if you're questioning something, even after talking to Mike or your upline, call and ask for a risk assessment. That even helps, because sometimes the underwriting tools can be like a gray area. So just really try to use what you can. You're going to learn and be more confident for the next appointment than you really think. So that's my tip.
Absolutely. That's great stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of folks want to overcomplicate the in-home stuff, but as you said, it's a few simple steps. And if you just get in the routine of those few simple steps, then you have success like you. So Andre, what about yourself? Or outside of, calling in the home to your upline, is there any resources that you're using, the weekly calls, Gina, BAM, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would say, for whatever reason, if I couldn't get somebody on the phone, just going in the Telegram app and going up to the not to the quoting tools, but the final expense grid or the term grid, whatever it is. And just, if they said, oh, I have this, I have cancer, I had cancer a year ago, or I had a heart attack, or I had a stroke, and just go into it. I mean, it's literally you have the answers to the test. It's just, just going in there and seeing what they have and just kind of comparing. So if you're not able to get any help, or you can check that, and then you can also check the in-home chat. Just send a question in there if you ever have it. I've used those. And then, outside of being in the home, just, I mean, we're in the cars all day long, right? I mean, I know for myself, I get sick of hearing the same 3 songs over and over and over again. So I'm constantly just listening to, product calls, or, whether it's personal development, just ways to kind of keep my mindset good, or just listening to, how other people approach coming into a house, and I mean, you don't, doesn't have to be just people within our company, but hearing what other people are saying as well, because everybody has something good to say. So, uh, just using that, just going on YouTube
Absolutely.
and those videos, and using that when I get in the house.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Using the in-home chat on Telegram, that is an awesome resource for you. And then on the pin message in the Legacy Life Telegram group, there's a bunch of pin messages that'll help you guys. So last question that we want to jump into is, have you guys been to the events, either the team events or the company events? And if so, would you say that it made a positive impact or made a tremendous impact in where you're at today? Erin, kick us off.
Yes, I started the year off at NatCon and went to everyone since, and I look forward to the next one. It's the most rewarding thing. And I have a lot of people that I'm recruiting say, do I have to go? No, you don't. But I think you're going to miss out. It's major networking. It helps with confidence, connections, and learning. I mean, it's just a win-win and fun. and fun, and you get to travel, and it's a tax write-off. So it's just more benefits and qualifying for, you know, Alaska. So I always said when I graduate college, I just want to pay my bills and travel. And I love what I do. Traveling's fun. People that I've met and connections I've made, it's just the best thing because you want to be around people that think like you. And I don't want to be wasting my time. So it's worth traveling for me. And it was life changing. Mike told me, Aaron, in December when I finally got my license, he said, when you go to NatCon, you're not going to go back to work. I was like, heck no, there's no way I would do that. Like, Mike, you don't even know me. I maybe February, March. He spoke it into existence. Literally got off the flight and didn't go back to work. I was at home. So I definitely like any event that you have, it's the most rewarding thing that you can. It doesn't feel like a job. It's learning in a whole different way and building confidence. So I would say go to all. I mean, don't miss out because you will be missing out.
Absolutely. Andre, what did you, how was Miami for you and how did that impact, whether it be your mindset or your business?
Yeah, so my first one was actually Denver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did come out to Denver. That was super early on. When was Denver? Was that April? Or
Yeah.
April? Yeah, so my first one, because I kind of was like halfway in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out in April. And so I did go to that one. And I think pretty much everything that Aaron said, it's good to be able to see other people doing it as well and having success. And it's hard to do that if you don't go to the events because you're just on your own. You're wherever you are. Your help or your upline is in whatever state that they are. I mean, you're lucky if you're in the same state, let alone, same city or county or whatever. So it's hard to, get around like-minded people, get around people who are doing the same thing as you and believe the same things. And that's just like anything. You want to surround yourself with people that are doing the same things as you. So, I mean, for me, especially with sports, I've always been on a team. I've always been around other people who have the same goals as me. And so, yeah, getting to those trips is big. And I mean, like, it's fun, you get to go there, you get to be around everybody, have fun, you're learning stuff. And just make sure that I'm there. So
Absolutely.
now, yeah, it's like not so much on the fence. Like at first it was like, I mean, it's just a powwow kind of thing, but no, you definitely are going there to learn stuff. And I mean, even myself after Miami, he said to bring the GMR up, and I was like, all right, like, guess that's what I gotta do. So, yeah, definitely get some.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you guys said that because, for a lot of folks, it seems like going to an event is like homework. It's like, why do I need to do extra? Right. And a lot of times it's because of an employee mindset of like, oh, this is something I have to do that I'm being ordered to do to serve somebody else's agenda or purpose. But with the events here, this is your own business. You are creating your family's legacy. You are attaching something that's going to outlive you to your last name. And so you want to invest into it, into yourself as much as possible. And any cost associated with it is a tax write-off, which is a whole different conversation. But the big thing is that with the events, what you're doing is you're collapsing timeframes and you're creating ultimate leverage. What's leverage? You're getting more out than you put in. And so I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel drained. Sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, like I know I need to do meetings or help team members or whatever, but sometimes it's like your battery runs low. And so when you go to an event, what happens is your battery recharges, number one. Number two, what you do is you collapse the learning curve from 6 months to 6 years or whatever into a weekend. It's like, where else can you go where you can take 10, 15, 20 years of experience and knowledge on how to do what you're trying to get good at and learn it in a single day? And so we actually have an incredible event coming up in Atlanta, Georgia, on the 2nd of September. It's a Saturday, and the details are on our Telegram page. There's only a couple hotel rooms left at the discounted price, so make sure to book that. And the space for the event is also running thin, but it's supposed to be a family deal, so bring your family. It's going to be a lot of fun. But basically, you have the very best of our team and other teams that we asked to come and do a special training just for you guys. And so you can go there in one day, go from 0 to 100. All right. So learn everything that these guys are talking about. You'll be able to meet them. You'll be able to ask them specific questions or any of the other leaders that are there. And the entire day is designed so that at the end of the day, you know exactly what to do and how to do it out there in the field to get the same results as these guys, because you're going to be able to learn from them and from the other leaders on the team. Again, you can sign up for that on our Telegram page, at the Legacy Life Telegram page for both the hotel room and the ticket itself. So real quick, let me just go through here. And we also do have a bigger event in Orlando. Get with the person that invited you onto the call. They'll talk to you about Orlando. That one's going to be crazy. That's going to be later on this year. But the big one right now is our event in Atlanta. Don't miss it. It's only $50 for the ticket. There's nowhere else on the planet where you could pay to have the caliber of leadership. I mean, one of the people that we learn from are going to be there. We're all going to be there, and there's nowhere else that you could spend $50 for that much knowledge and experience to pass that down to you willingly. Like if you're not there, you know, I'm not saying you're not serious about your business, but your business will suffer. If there's stuff going on, totally cool. You don't have to go, but it's not going to absolve you of the consequences of not being there, where now your business is 6 months, 12 months, maybe 2 years behind where it would have been if you would have got that knowledge and experience. So definitely go. Let's check out this Q&A real quick. So answered that. When we were talking about door knocks, these are leads that they just couldn't get to answer. So it's not just walking down the street, knocking on random doors. That is, there's leads that people had sent in that they just weren't able to get a hold of. And as far as the best time for making dials, it just, 9 to 11, 1 to 3, 5 to 7 is kind of the industry best time. But honestly, like, you just call till they answer. All right. And it's like, if you called in the morning one day, try again in the afternoon, a different day. And then if you try again in the evening, if they don't answer on those times, go door knock them, go say hi. All right. But that is all we have for y'all. I very much appreciate Aaron and Andre taking time out of their night to come add value to y'all. And I hope that you got value out of that as well. If you did, go into the reaction emoji, show some love to these guys for taking time out to pour into you and your team. When you're at the event in Atlanta, stop these guys, ask them, say hi, shake their hand, give them a hug, right? And let them know that they added value to you. And if you have questions, they'll be there along with the other leaders on the team. But I hope you got value from tonight. Thursday, we'll have our presentation. So if you've got people that are interested in taking a look at it, what it is we do, that'll be Thursday night. And until then, plug into the other calls, and we will see you in Atlanta, September 2nd. Love y'all. Let's kick some butt and have a great night.